I believe my lies are truth. Why won't you eat what you're fed? 'Cause when I touch myself, I think of only you. And when I touch someone else, no one is fake.
Union attracts so many great, passionate, dynamic folks who are just all over across the board, just like amazing.
What I've enjoyed the most about Union, I've enjoyed the way this space has allowed me to step into myself. I preached my first sermon here, March 29th, 2017. And if it wasn't for this kind of small, loving space, then I wouldn't have been able to know that that's what I'm supposed to be doing for the rest of my life, or at least for a season of my life. So I love that it's been a space that I'm able to grow.
But you know, there's the other side. The administration, the lack of resources. And when I say the administration, I'm just saying this constant battle and tension, it seems, this negative relationship the students have with the administration.
I don't know if I've experienced racism here in the sense of it being explicit. I think much about Union is never going to be explicit because it prides itself on being a social justice institution, though it's sitting on the soil of stolen land. So there's always going to be some kind of undergirding racist nature to this place.
I've definitely experienced racism here at Union, specifically anti-Black racism, specifically racism against Black women. Here at Union, honestly, I have grown up in white spaces all my life. Chicago, although it's really segregated, I still went to schools with white people, even though I would grow up in the neighborhood where I lived. It was mostly Black people. And so I've been navigating white spaces pretty much my entire life.
I'm almost 30, from almost 20 years of being in spaces like this, that I'm not gonna get what I need on that level. So I have to just create it. And I think that's the plight of the Black people, or the people of color, is constantly having to be creative. This is why hip hop happened and jazz happened, because we had to create those spaces for ourselves. And so it's a gift and a curse.
In regards to racism being seen as traumatic, I go back to my childhood. I go back to being a little girl. Her name was Colette. She had bangs, her hair was blonde, her hair was straight, and I wanted so badly to have hair like that. And it's honestly, I wish I could explain into words what that feeling is. For me, it came out of self-hatred. For me, it came out of this feeling of like, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough.
I think ultimately racism doesn't always have a negative outcome. It's a sickness. I had a professor who treated me well, but part of the reason why I felt like this person treated me well was because I was Black. If I had been white, a white woman, this person might have had some other kind of sexual tension. They're not attracted to me in that way because I am Black.
And experiencing de facto segregation and experiencing what it's like to be in a neighborhood of only Black people, you know, poor, working class, lower middle class Black folk, and then you cross the street and all of the $1 million homes were filled with white people. And so that also connected for me, like having this nice hair, fulfilling these beauty standards, and also living in a safe, beautiful neighborhood, having resources, having piano lessons. And so when I go back to my childhood, I say that to really talk about how far I've gone and the trauma that I have experienced. I think for sure racism, the experience of racism is traumatic. It really is.
My paternal grandmother. Not because we were super close, but she's the ancestor that's been on my mind lately. She died last year. But, you know, I think about her life story and about the legacy that I'm a part of. This woman who was 16 who had twins, and then 18 had another kid. My grandmother had like 7 kids by the time she was 30, and most of them went to college and most of them had careers, and my father is one of her kids, and I wouldn't be here if my father if she hadn't worked as a janitor for 35 years at Ursuline Academy in New Orleans. I would consult her for guidance. I would love to just know more about her journey as a young mother, a poor black woman at some points in her life with several children, and how her faith or how her connection with the earth or the divine really propelled her forward and propelled her children forward, who have done and will continue to do amazing things.
Recently, I have become a part of this community called the Urban Out of X healing community, and we more so focus on we do healing circles, and we focus on healing in the body, trauma in the body, and so we practice ways of releasing that in our body, identifying it and releasing it.
Dr. Shaniqua Walker Barnes talks about this in her book, Too Heavy a Yoke, about the strong black woman stigma and what that means for black women for their health. There are many women who negate their health because they're strong black women, so they're not taking care of themselves while they're being strong for everybody else in their family.
There is a quality within black women that I've recognized growing up of strength. And at the same time, being labeled a strong black woman or having that assumption of oh, she's strong, it makes them not believe our pain. It makes them not believe our suffering. There's a reason black women die at higher rates during childbirth, or when doctors don't believe black women when they come in and they say something's hurting, or
The strong black woman suffers from anxiety disorder too. The strong black woman suffers from depression too. And so where is there room for that in that narrative, that you can be both and? You can be strong black woman on the outside, and then on the inside, you still are battling with whatever you're battling with. And I find that particularly in white institutions, predominantly white institutions, where you go to class, you're really good, the teacher's praising you, this, that, and the other, but they're not really investing in you because they're oh, you got it.
It's hurtful. It's painful. It almost is where can I find love? Not just romantic love, but love in this world, if people won't believe me.
I do carry myself in a certain way that is, I'm strong and I'm confident and this, that, and the other. But I also think that allows other people to not care for and nurture me in the way that I might feel like I need.
I think my dream would just to be happy. My dream is to that's interesting. I'm still trying to figure that out. The specifics of that dream. But I think whenever I think of happiness and in the future for me, what does that look like? I think of teaching, I think of community building, I think of communal healing, I think of creativity.
And now my eyes, they look at you.
That's a difficult question. I don't know what my soul is calling me to in this world that tries to keep black women invisible. I don't know if what my soul is calling me to is really important in this season of my life, because I've been trying to control many aspects of my journey, and I've been surrendering little by little to the divine, and every time I surrender, it's something that I said I wouldn't do. So I don't know. That's the answer to the question.